How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. Always do appreciate it. Always will. We are going to continue on our series of expectations, but today it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be an expectation. It is going to be my bold prediction surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs' 2024 first round pick wide receiver, Xavier Worthy out of Texas. Now, as we know, last season, he got propelled into a larger role due to Rashee Rice's injury. Going forward into this season, Rice is expected to return. Patrick Mahomes is thinking and developing more plans along with Andy Reid, head coach Andy Reid, to moving the ball down the field a whole lot more, being explosive on the offense. That wasn't something that happened last season. And that being said, it fits in very well with the prediction that we have for Xavier Worthy. Let's do a little housekeeping before we dive into the predictions. As you might have known, as is well known now, the Kansas City Chiefs will start their training camp on July 21st. Super exciting things because now Kansas City Chiefs football is in the horizon, closer than we had it before. Now that they have finished up mandatory mini camp, rookie mini camp, OTA processes, we're moving forward, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting closer to the 2025 NFL campaign. As if you can't tell, I'm very excited. I hope you guys are too. That also being said, we are the little background for the prediction. First off, Xavier Worthy totaled 638 receiving yards last season and 59 receptions. Though he had multiple excess targets, he didn't fill in those areas just due to, inexperience. Now, it wasn't always his fault. Defenders in the NFL are much different than how they were in college. But for a guy who was expected to be in a role that wasn't so large, to immediately get thrusted into the position as the main wide receiver once Rice went down, he did as well as that he could. While his first start of the season or the beginning of portion of the year did not work out in his favor near the end, he started moving much better down the line, showing that he could be a reliable receiver for Patrick Mahomes. He's a reliable option for deep passes. We saw it in the NFL playoffs, and even though that the Chiefs were getting blown out by the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl this past season, Xavier Worthy, he still made the plays. He knows that he can get up and get there, and so does Patrick. So it's going to be a huge improvement to see going forward. And that being said, we have a big prediction, a bold prediction. While it might not come true, here is the bold prediction. As we know, Xavier Worthy is being considered as the punt returner for the 2025 campaign, which was his original job, quote unquote, supposed to be for the 2024 campaign. Obviously, plans change. That being said, though, the punt returning role needs to be filled with a guy that's reliable, has fast feet, that can break through defenders, is super fast. And as you know, speed kills, and the Kansas City Chiefs know it, especially Xavier Worthy. He's one of the fastest players that the team possesses. That being said, with the 638 receiving yards on the board last season, as well as a punt return option, I am making a bold prediction saying that Xavier Worthy will total close to 1,000 receiving yards and go over 300 punt return yards. And it may seem bold given what we saw last season, but in reality, it's not all that outlandish. In college, his final season, he totaled over 1,000 receiving yards and over 300 punt return yards. His speed is utilized on both sides of the field, and that's the exact kind of game plan that the Kansas City Chiefs seem to be going with Xavier Worthy. Knowing the fact that Rashee Rice is coming back, Hollywood Brown's coming back, you're going to throw in Xavier Worthy in that mix as well. That's a strong trio wide receiving group, as well as the depth behind them. But you also have Xavier Worthy doing double duty, being a punt returner. And if he's so indestructible as we saw him to be in college in that position, why not give it a shot? I understand that the NFL has several players on the roster for a reason to do multiple roles. And while Xavier Worthy is definitely a pinpoint player to watch as the seasons progressed in Kansas City, I think it's very probable that the Chiefs are going to find out what they have in a punt returner and a wide receiver all in one for Xavier Worthy. Now, here's the real kicker. I say close to 1,000 in receiving yards because it's hasn't been done before. The Chiefs haven't touched over 1,000 receiving yards in quite some time. In fact, they haven't had two or more receivers get past the 1,000 receiving yard mark since the 2022 campaign. As we know, a lot of things has changed since the 2022 campaign. You're not going to see Travis Kelce bringing in 1,000 receiving yards as he did before. So if the Chiefs want to break that curse that they have of the receiving corps, it's going to be with a guy like Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice taking the brunt, the majority of those passes in order to get close to what the 1,000 receiving yards. As I touched on earlier, the Chiefs are looking to expand their explosiveness and getting a guy who can do both on both ends of the football. Whenever the football's in his hands, if he can do damage, Xavier Worthy, that's the kind of explosiveness that the Chiefs are looking for. While they're talking about deep passes, you can rely on Xavier Worthy for that. If you're looking for a guy to get as many yards as he can from a punt return, Xavier Worthy is the guy to do that. His speed and his hand-eye coordination only works in the Kansas City Chiefs' favor, so much so that I don't think that this bold prediction is too outlandish. Obviously, it will be seen depending on how the coaching staff depends on where they go, where they lean to for the punt return. While it could be Xavier Worthy for a majority of the time, you also got guys like Carson Steele, Nico Regimio. There are guys that can slide into that fold. Even 2025 draft pick, Jalen Royals is an option to do punt returning practices. So it's that in itself, knowing that there's a lot of depth at that position, it might be more difficult for him to surpass the 300 punt return yards. But I think in reality, if they do plan on using him as the second wide receiver, he could get very close to 1,000. And when I say close to 1,000, I'm talking within like 100. So I would say the scale would be between a 900 to, I guess I would go as low as 850 because I feel like that's a good pace. As long as Xavier Worthy sees his statistics increase in this second year, the Chiefs are going to be in a good spot. That's not a bold prediction. That's just a spoiler. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for stopping in. As you can see on the ticker down below, or if you are listening, you can follow me over on X at Dom Minchella, DOMMINCHELLA. I post and repost every single day as we get closer to the 2025 campaign. You're not going to want to miss it. And to make sure you don't miss any other stories, you can follow us over at KC Chiefs on SI over on X as well. All the stories get posted there by our talented writing staff as we keep getting closer to the 2025 campaign. I know they're excited. I know I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Chiefs Kingdom, as always, be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.